Ivanka Trump will be taking a position as an unpaid federal employee in the Trump administration. Now, of course, this has led to a lot of drama, especially when you consider the fact that her husband, Jared Kushner, is a senior advisor in the White House. However, her role will be assistant to the president. But because of ethical concerns, she says, I will not receive a paycheck. I'm just gonna be there assisting my father. So again, it's an unpaid advisor to her father in the White House. Here is her exact statement about this matter. She says, I have heard the concerns some have with my advising the president in my personal capacity while voluntarily complying with all ethics rules, and I will instead serve as an unpaid employee in the White House office, subject to all of the same rules as other federal employees. Throughout this process, I have been working closely and in good faith with the White House counsel and my personal counsel to address the unprecedented nature of my role.
So one of her critics was me. And not that she's responding to me, but probably. And I explained in an earlier story about how she claimed that she was going to voluntarily follow the ethics rules, even though she didn't have to. And the experts in the field explained, well, if it's voluntary, you could just choose not to follow the ethics rules anytime that you wanted. So that really means absolutely nothing. So now she's not taking a salary. Of course, oh come on, you can't take a salary. That would be insane, right? Especially when you're claiming your dad's worth $10 billion, yada yada, right? So, and by the way, that hasn't changed. She never said she was gonna take a salary.
Right.
Okay, to be fair to her. And so now in this case, she has this special roving assignment of, I'm gonna try to get my dad to not do stupid stuff, right? And that's what we're gonna call it, assistant to the president. What does that mean? What are you in charge of? In healthcare, shoes, what are you in charge of? I don't know, I'm in charge of tackling when he's about to do a stupid tweet. So the interesting thing is, I don't mind her being there. I actually think she's one of the more moderate, and yes, she's still super right wing, but in that insane White House, one of the more moderate right wingers.
Why do we think she's moderate? Like
no, because every once in a while she'll give a speech that she's like, females are also human. We're like, oh, whoa, look at that. Well, that's a moderate right there in that White House. And she'll say, hey, so maybe like when they have kids, we should make them go back to work right after delivery. Maybe we should have paid maternity leave.
Yeah, look,
now she doesn't enforce that.
That's right, because talk is cheap as her stilettos, right?
Damn! Whoa! Shots fired.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
I will say that I do like her style, but nonetheless.
Please believe me.
Oh, you said you do like her style.
Yeah, I think she has great style.
Oh, wow.
But that doesn't.
Are we not merciful?
Okay, you can compartmentalize parts of people, right? And so is she beautiful? Yes. Does she have good style? Yes. That's pretty much it. But we don't really,
That's all we got.
We keep talking about her as if she's a moderate because sometimes she says nice things, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you look at the way she treats her employees or the fact that her items and apparel are made in China, again, talk is cheap. So I don't see her as moderate. We don't really know much about her when you think about it, right?
And that's exactly what the problem here is. She has a role that is totally undefined, and she still has business interests, and she attends meetings where she's sitting there with the leaders of countries where she does business, including during the transition with the Japanese leaders, later with the German leaders. Her husband just got the biggest sweetheart deal we've ever seen in New York, where a Chinese company directly related to the Chinese government seems to have overpaid him by about $400 million. Now that is super rough, and people will argue over the price of that building, but it was the biggest sale in New York for a building, and almost every expert in real estate and markets said it was way overinflated price. Now that is a way of getting the Chinese government getting hundreds of millions of dollars into Ivanka's pocket. They're married into Ivanka's pocket, and now she has a role as assistant to the president, which means what? I don't know. And is she gonna whisper sweet nothings into Donald's ear about China after they just paid her hundreds of millions of dollars by all experts in real estate in New York account that they shouldn't have gotten?
Yeah.
Maybe. If you're a member of the Young Turks, you not only get the whole 2-hour Young Turks show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you also get so many other shows. Old School, you'll love it. Aggressive Progressive for guys who are true progressives. Now also Nerd Alert for gaming and tech. What the Flick for movie reviews. You will love it. Check it out right now at tytnetwork.com/join.